Fight Time Network. Welcome back to Fight Time Network, y'all. We got a huge event, UFC 315 up in Lee's World, Montreal, Canada. Pretty
Whoa.
decent card, eh?
Yeah. The land of the not so free. But
Oh boy. This card is going to be headlined by Bilal Muhammad versus Jack De La Maddalena. Before we jump into this video is brought to you by TKO Roofing. They are out of Cleveland, Ohio. Cody Wilson is the owner and the champ of Cage Thunder. Don't let your roof be the underdog. Call the champ and get it fixed. Starting off this card on the early prelims. Ooh, baby. We got Brad Katona versus Beksat Almakan, the Tehran Warrior versus Superman. Oh, fuck. What you think, Lee? I about knocked something down.
you know what? I really like Brad Katona in this one. He's plus 140. Man, he's hard to put away. He's hard to slow down. A lot of people forget that he actually beat Bryce Mitchell on the Ultimate Fighter back when Bryce Mitchell was actually something. You know what? I think he's he's the type of guy, especially you've seen his personality on the Ultimate Fighter with Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler. I think he's what like Craig Jones says when he's like the perfect mix of autism and steroids, but he's just to the point straight. But he's gone the distance with the current bantamweight champ, Mural Dvalishvili. And Alamaka's performance against Umar just wasn't really that much to blow your hair back. So I think Katona's relentless pace, his focus during fights, that lightning stare, and his experience is going to prevail. Plus 140 dog. He is live.
Sitting at plus 150 right now, DraftKings. But I'm going to go with you. I just really think that the experience that Katona's going to bring, he's just not going to be ready for it, like you said. 100%. I'm going to agree with that part of your speech. And the other one's just good little fuzzy details, baby. What do you think about Moises?
I love that pick. Katona, like you said he's sturdy. And honestly, he throws a lot more strikes than homeboy over here. What's his name? Almacan. He doesn't really throw a lot either. You could tell it's going to be more like a grappling match. And Katona has really good wrestling too. So and he's sturdy,
Yeah,
just like you said. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the pick on that. That's good plus money to start off the night.
get it, boys. Moving on to Daniel Santos, 12-2 versus Li Jiangyang, 11-2. You can go ahead and take this one off the rip, Moises. Mike's hot, boy.
I'm gonna go with Lee, bro. I'm gonna go with Lee on this one, just because I feel like he's more well-rounded. Santos looks like he'll put up some good pace, but he'll probably just go into like he kind of like a relentless type of pressures where he could just go into the how can I say it? He'll just be in there in the pocket, just trying to land something and just go with the flow when it comes down to that. So I'm gonna go with my pick with Lee on this one.
The only thing I got coming into play here is probably takedowns. I haven't really watched Lee enough to know. I should know him. Who did he fight last? Anybody know?
Hater a mill.
Hater Mill. Lost, got knocked out round one. That's a hard one. Even if you go back and watch it. Beat Blake Builder 3 rounds. I just not don't have enough on Lee, but I do know Santos. He is not scared to force a takedown and go to the mat either. So
Yeah, exactly.
that's kind of a lost territory. I didn't rewatch any of Lee's fights and look into his past. But over his last 5 fights, he does have a 76% takedown defense. So I mean, I feel like if Santos can't outstrike him on the feet like he should be able to, he's going to be going for takedowns. So I guess it's all about Lee's takedown defense for me here.
Yeah.
What do you think, Lee?
I like Daniel Santos in this one, despite the fact that he's coming off a long layoff. His last win was a great win over Munoz when Munoz was a little bit more hot and there was a little bit more hype behind him. And I don't think Lee has learned his lesson from that Hater a Mill fight, which I do remember distinctly. They just went into it rock'em sock'em robots and threw down until one of them was going to fall. And I think that's what's the style that Lee's going to bring to Santos. And I just think that Santos has the fight style to prevail and overcome the outer side of that, because Lee's going to come at him hard and fast and try to knock his block off first round. And if it doesn't
Right.
happen, I don't see Lee being good on the other side of it.
Oh yeah. Moving on to this little banger, the featured early prelims. I love it. Both dudes 35 years old. Marc-Andre Barrieu, 16-9, coming against Bruno Silva, 23-12. Pretty much tail of the tape. These dudes are even. 35 years old, only a 1 inch difference with each other. Same exact reach. Both coming in 185 pounds. Both have really decent strikes landed per minute. Both really ain't shooting takedowns. Both have the worst, a terrible takedown accuracy anyway, and both around the same takedown offenses. Both coming off, well, 4 straight losses for Bruno Silva, 3 straight losses for Barriou. Like, my God, could you match these guys up any better? Be like, all right, who wants to stay in this fucking program, boys? Someone's going home. What you think, Lee?
I like Marc-Andre Barrieu in this one. I mean, both fighters are on some bad skids. 3-fight skid for Barrieu, 4-fight skid for Silva. I think Barrios had to go up against the higher level of
Yeah.
competition like Chris Curtis and other names in that regard. He's in his hometown of Montreal for this fight, and this very well
Okay.
could be his last fight. So I think the UFC setting him up with a good send off. Barrio has good KO power. I mean, so does Silva, but he tends to be more reactive. Mind you, they're both kind of reactive fighters, but I think Silva is a little bit more reactive than Barrio. So I think Barrio is going to go first and will ultimately be the reason he seals his victory.
Both of them have so much to lose here. As much as I want to say it going decision, I'm going to call this probably inside the distance type of fight. Both of these dudes need to go out there and get a heck of a dub. What about you
Yeah.
thinking, Lee or Moises?
Yeah, I feel the same way. Burial, he is, he's from Canada, and he pretty
Indeed.
much he lands more strikes than Silva. You know what I mean per minute. And yeah, I'm gonna go with Burial on this one as well. He's gonna get it. I mean, like just like Lee said, it's a good send off for him, and he gets the dub. Maybe he'll continue. If he loses, I'm sure he'll retire.
Did they both even have an exact 47% each striking accuracy? Strikes absorbed per minute or within point 0.3 of a point. Like, what the frick, dude? Like, both these boys, like, hey, you're getting the same exact stats. Let's fight, dude. Who wants to stay?
Yeah,
Who wants to
Yeah.
go,
Well,
bro?
they have Barrio favored 2-1 on the books too.
Give or take. Mark
yeah,
Andre
both
minus
right.
148. Silva coming in at plus
Ooh,
124 right now.
that minus 148 is not bad.
No, this is a good one. First couple fights here. Nice little parlay. Be nice, man. Moving on. It keeps throwing me off if Bracatona's not on the lineups. Boy. Starting your prelims. Got undefeated Navajo Sterling 6-0 coming against Ivan Urslan 14-4. This is a big test for this young man because this dude's a killer. Whoo. And undefeated fighters in the UFC have been not having a great year at
True,
all.
true.
But Navajo Sterling, I think, is here. He's got what it takes, boys. He looks good. Like he really does. And he's only 27 years old. I just don't know if he's ready for a full-blown man, 33-year-old dog. And he's a decent wrestler. Navajo Sterling hasn't really shot a takedown in 2 fights in the UFC, but he hasn't needed to. Tuco Toko's pretty much just threw for the fences, maybe looked good for a minute against Navajo Sterling, but then just got outworked, outclassed. I can't go against Sterling. I like that boy. What you got, Moises?
I'm going with Sterling too, bro. He has a good reach advantage, and he's taller than Ursline. But yeah, bro. Honestly, I can see this finishing inside the distance. But yeah, bro. I'm going with my man Sterling.
Gully.
I agree with that too. Sterling, he's coming in with that JDM brigade, making the trip from Australia to Canada. Like you said, Brendan, he looked good last time out against Tukos. Urslan's coming off a loss to Kutalaba, so that
Mm-hmm.
pretty well sealed the deal for me to bet for Sterling. I mean, Sterling's definitely going to get checked at one point, like all undefeated fighters have, and eventually will. But this is not the time around. This is Sterling's fight.
I
That's
agree
right.
with you. And I'm kind of curious of how Devon's going to overcome that 7-inch reach differentiation. Because it's not that just it's going to be longer. Sterling's just, he's really good at being a lengthy fighter. So that 7 inches, man, is going to be like 10.
Yeah,
Like
that's
it
true.
really is. He's really good at connecting at long range. And I just, like you said, everybody gets fraud checked, maybe, or just checked. You know, they have that hard match. You see, things got a little closer. And I agree that Von der Slaan is not going to be that guy either.
Right. I like that. Yep, I like it.
Moving on to Lee's favorite fighter next up, Ian Kutalabe, 1910 1 versus Modestas Bukauskas, 17-6. Lee, you think Ian got this one or what?
You know what? I went hard in the paint against him last time at against Iboe Salon, and man, did I have the egg on my face. Like actually, the night of the fight was the night where we were at AFP 101, and I was just kind of watching the phone, like, no way. In like the first time in 20 odd years, Ian Kutalaba lands an arm triangle. So he's coming off of that impressive victory, and he's actually put together a couple of wins in a row. Kutalaba has against Urslan and against Aslan. But I got to go with Bukauskas, man. Bukauskas, he's 4 in his last 5. He's clawed his way back to the big show for a second time after that devastating loss to Khalil Roundtree. And despite Kutalabat's resurgence, it's hard to say how consistent he's going to show up, where Bukauskas has shown that consistency outside the UFC and back in it. So I got to take Bukauskas, and he's at a minus 105, which is fabulous price for this fight.
Yeah, if you're wanting to pick a parlay, the first 2 fights plus this one, if you can get them all 3 right, you're going to have some great odds on a 3-person parlay here. I'm going to agree with you and take Bukauskas too. Pretty much the same reasons that you came out of. But I just don't see Kutalabe being able to push forward far enough against Bukauskas to get him on the back foot. I mean, there's not. Bukauskas ain't going to be shooting no takedowns. We know that for sure. Ian Kutalabe is probably going to get sloppy, pieced up on the feet, shoot in for a bad takedown, and Bukauskas, I feel, is going to take advantage of it. And possibly, maybe even get a submission. You never know. Rear naked choke's always a possibility.
That's true.
But Kutalabe is pretty good on the ground too. I don't really see that happening. I think this good a decision. Bukauskas come out on top. What do you think I'm gonna say?
Kutalabe by buggy choke locked in right now.
No, yeah, I agree with you guys with Bukauskas. What I could see this really, honestly, just the way it is, it might happen that Kutalaba will go for a bad takedown and he might take the back. But I see it going the distance, to be honest. I don't think Kutalaba will risk himself that much in order to
Right.
try to land something on Bukauskas. But yeah, Bukauskas is my pick for this one. And I agree with that parlay you just said too right now, Brendan. I'm looking at it right now too, and I'm like, damn, that's
I
not
see
bad.
my phone.
It's not
Get that
bad.
money. Get that money. Moving on to a little bit of women's division here. Jessica Andrade, 26-13, coming against Jasmine Jasudavicius, 13-3. Oh man. It's hard to bet against Andrade, truthfully. But she's kind of had a couple stints in her career lately. She did just come off losing to Silva. Had a good run, beat Dern Rodriguez. We thought she was on a tear again, then lost to Silva. So now it's like, shit, who's going to show up? Out of her last 5, you've only seen her show up twice. It was a great win against Dern. I mean, it's a pretty boring fight, but you have to be boring against Dern unless you're going to try to sleep her on the feet.
Right.
But Jazza Davicius beat Buena Silva, Da Silva, Klein, Teixeira, and lost to Cortez way back. I mean, it's not against Jazza Davicius. God bless. It's not a possibility or out of the realm that she cannot pull this off, truthfully. I mean, what you think, Lee?
Jasmine Jazidovidius, man, Canada's only hope at a world title. Jillian Robertson doesn't count. She lives in Florida. But, I've trained with a lot of guys from Niagara Top Team, and I've seen Jasmine around in Toronto. Like, she is making history in professional MMA for Canadian women. She was the first winner of a women's pro MMA fight in Saudi Arabia back earlier this year, where she beat Silva. She's 3-1, 3-1 on the books, and rightfully so. I think Andrade has struggled with wrestling before, and I don't think JJ is going to get into a slugfest with her. I think she's going to play the game plan we've seen over her last 5 wins. She's going to wrestle hard. She's going to get that takedown, and it wouldn't surprise me if she dominates all 3 rounds to another unanimous decision.
What do you think, Moises? That's pretty much what I'm thinking too. It matters if she can get in on Josh's legs, but what you got?
Yeah, yeah, but she is gonna have to do that because I know Jessica Andrade. She throws a lot of punches. She throws a lot of punches, and Jasmine's gonna have to get through that just so she can wrestle her down. But I know I have her right here as a -310, but I see more value in the over 2.5 rounds and -185. So I
Hmm.
can see that like going into the distance. But yeah, I'm going with Jasmine because you're right, man. It's kind of the last hope for a champ. But I feel like Jessica Andrade just back and forth. You know what I mean? Like we thought she'd be like KO TKO Mackenzie Dern, and then she gets the other dub. But then after that, she loses on decision, and it's kind of like okay, she's like back and forth on this. But how I've been telling my wife too. I'm like, yo, I'm like new blood is coming in. All these new fighters are coming in, and they're going on a tear right now. And I think it's time Jasmine, Jasmine,
Yeah, boy, it's hard shit.
Jasmine is gonna get the dub on this, and I like the over 2.5 rounds on this one.
I even just noticed Jasmine has a win over Miranda Maverick, and I mean she's no joke in the cage. I know Maverick, I think, just took a loss, but it's a heck of a dub too. This one's really close. I'm not sure. It matters what Andrade shows up, but on the books, yeah, I'll take Jasmine just for you, Lee. Moving on to your featured prelim bout, Mike Malott, 11-2-1 versus Charles Radke, 10-4. What you got on this, Moises? What an early banger. Too sad it's not going to be. Could have been a
Honestly,
decision card possibly, but what
I'm
you think?
excited for this one, bro. But yeah, you know what? I like Mike Malott a lot. No pun intended. But I'm gonna have to go with Charles Radke on this. I know some people. I told my wife too, and she's like, "What? The Mike Malott?" I was like, I'm going with Charles Radke on this. I feel ever since what happened to him with Carlos Prates, he's like more focused and like more like, hey, I want to knock out everybody in this division. I'm gonna make sure that I just come back up with what happened with his last win too, which was honestly it was a great win. It was a crazy, crazy KO. But and this pick is gonna be from me. It's gonna be Charles Radke.
Mike's hot, Lee.
I hate going against Chuck Buffalo. I absolutely hate it. I've been supporting Chuck Buffalo for every fight that he's had. He was always a great pick. He's cashed me so many plus money tickets, but unfortunately, I have to go for the Burlington born, a guy that's an hour away from where I sit right now. Captain Canada, proper Mike Malott. This is a close fight, though. They have
Yeah.
Mike Malott 3-1 on the books, but it should be a coin flip, really, because both these guys have power. Both these guys are specialists in certain areas. And basically, if you're rooting for Mike Malott, let's hope that we get the pre-Neil Magny Mike Malott and not the one that we saw against Trayvon Giles. He's
Yeah.
going to have to go for the finish against a guy like Radke. It's going to have to be kill or be killed. This is a good fight. So let's hope that we get the Mike Malott that let's hope we get the Mike Malott that just would go for it, whether he that's just going to jump a guillotine against Neil Magny in the 3rd round and ready to tear it all out.
I'll take Mike Malott too, even though it hurts me to go against Radke, but part of the game. I feel like his wrestling's going to really come into play and give Radke some problems. Yep, pretty much where I'm at with that. Moving on to your main card for UFC 315 this upcoming Saturday. Before we jump into this main card, this video is brought to you by TKO Roofing out of the Cleveland, Ohio area. Don't let your guys' roof be the underdog. Call the champ, Cody Wilson. Get it fixed here soon. We got this starting off with Benoit Saint Denis, 13-3, coming against Joel Alvarez here. Oh, this was a really hard one to pick, y'all. Benoit Saint Denis is bouncing back. Lost Moicano, lost to Poirier. Alvarez coming off 3 straight wins, a close Brenner, Diakis that just got, didn't he just get arrested? Pretty sure. Yeah, Diakis. No, that's the dude with the red hair. After he came off a loss to Sarukian, has been on a 3-fight win streak. Oh, boy. I'm going to go with Benoit Saint Denis here. I think it's going to be a slugfest. And the only person I really see mixing in the takedowns if things are going south will be Benoit Saint Denis. And if he can get on top of Joel Alvarez and Alvarez accepts it, I can see Benoit Saint Denis going to ground and pound town and possibly winning this inside the distance. What do you think, Lee?
I got some bad news, guys. Alvarez withdrew, man. This fight's canceled.
No way.
Yeah, man.
Why didn't it say on here?
Damn.
Oh, snap.
All right, moving on.
I had Alvarez anyway.
It was looking good for Alvarez.
It was looking amazing for Alvarez, bro.
We'll see. We'll never know.
We'll never know now.
Never know.
Maybe they'll reschedule it. But
Maybe.
yeah, I think that was recently over the past couple of days.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Well, is what it is. Let's move on. It's pretty much ladies' night on this card. There's literally 2 great matchups that you're going to want to watch. The first one is in the women flyweight division. Ex-champ Alexa Grasso, 16-4, coming against Natalia Silva, 18-5. Pretty much across the board. The only couple age difference, inches, and things like that. What do you think about this, Lee? I'm really liking Silva on this. But what you spitting?
Well, Alexa Grasso was spending 2 years thinking about Shevchenko. Natalia Silva was spending that time thinking about Alexa Grasso. And I mean, she looked great against Andrade. We've seen it recently with these like trilogy fights, whether they go 3 or 4. We've seen it with Figgy. We've seen it with Daniel Cormier. When they spend years on those like 3 or 4 fights that they have with the same person, their performances afterwards statistically seem to lapse. And I think that's exactly what we're going to see here. So I'm with Natalia Silva.
I'm going to 100% agree with you there. Alexa Grasso got that 1 win over Shevchenko, pretty much set the rest of her career on a downwards roller coaster with Shevchenko. And she hasn't really prepared or fought anybody since. So she's just so used to that type of style. It's really going to be hard to bounce back without, especially against Natalia Silva. Like maybe you could have like got back into your rhythm, figuring out where you needed to be against not Natalia Silva. And she's just murdering people on a 5-fight win streak. It may be even more than that. And here is Alexa Grasso. Her ground games, it's a big part of her game is the ground game. And Natalia Silva has a 91% takedown defense. So, I mean, yeah, she's good on the feet, but it's not like she used to be. She's 31 now, and you have seen that Shevchenko fights wearing down on her. She looked really freaking bad in the last one. So, you can take it for a grain of salt or not, but definitely Silva. What you got, Moises?
I agree, bro. And I just looked into it. She's on the 12-fight winning streak, bro, since 2018. Silva.
Babe.
Since 2018, bro. And I agree 100%, bro. Look, I'm Mexican, bro, and obviously I would always go for my people, right? We Hispanics stick together, but you're absolutely right, man. Alexa Grasso, she really hasn't done her due diligence to be like, you know what, let me get like a tune-up fight. You know what I mean? Like she hasn't fought since almost 2 years, right? Or when was the Noche of the UFC was like what last no, was it last year? The year before that? It was like the year before that, I believe. But when it was at the Sphere in Vegas, was it last year?
last year.
Yeah, so she hasn't fought since then.
Oh
You know what I'm
wow.
saying? And you're absolutely right. Natalia Silva is on a tear.
But she
She's
hasn't
been on a
fought
tear since
since
2018. And I'm
Sugar
gonna go
Sean
with
fought Marab.
yeah. And for
Wow.
me, I'm gonna go with Natalia Silva on this one. Um, I actually like the just choosing Natalia Silva because even over 2.5 rounds is minus 450. So might as well go with the minus 235 on Silva.
Straight up. Moving on to the King of Rio, Jose Aldo, 32-9 against Ayman Zahabi, 12-2. What a matchup. Both Zahabi coming at 37 years old. Aldo's scariest 38-year-old you're ever going to see in your life. Has a couple inch reach on him. But man, was Aldo coming off a got here? Coming off a loss to Batista.
Decision. Yeah, decision loss.
Zahabi looked good against Munoz, came off Basharat, beat Turkios on a 5-fight win streak. But you can never count out the king, dude. But wonder how many fights he has left on his contract. He'll probably just fight till he dies. They'll start a whole new promotion just for Jose Aldo for him to fight weekly.
Yeah.
Come fight the king! Fuck you up. Who you got, Moises?
Well, I'm gonna go with my man Jose Aldo, bro. I feel like he has more experience in the cage than Zahabi. I just like Jose Aldo, bro. He's very. They're both wild, in stand up. But I just feel like Jose Aldo's he's gonna get the dub on this one. So my pick is gonna be Jose Aldo.
I'm gonna go Zahabi. Who you got, Lee?
Yeah, I think Zahabi is the livest dog on this card at plus 160. Him and Aldo are
Plus
pretty well the same
190
age. Plus 190,
right
man.
now. Yeah.
Yeah,
I gotta get on DraftKings and not on FanDuel, but him and Aldo are pretty well the same age, man. Zahabi's like 37 and Aldo is 38, I'm pretty sure. So these guys are in the same age range. But I mean, in his corner, who he trains with on a regular basis, he has guys like the Wizard Faraz Zahabi as a brother. Probably he's at TriStar, so he's got some coaching over the course of his career by legends like David Loiseau. And there's rumors that at this fight, he's actually going to have GSP in his corner. You know, he ended the undefeated streak at Javid Basharat after 14-0. He was the one that put Basharat at 14-1. He has all the tools, and he certainly has all the King's horses and all the King's men in coaching to win this. So I really like Zahabi at plus money, man. I'm going all in on him.
What you thinking, Moises?
oh,
Oh yeah, you already got Aldo. My bad.
yeah, I did. I'm just like, no, I love what he said on that. That was awesome.
Hell yeah. Now we moving into our co-main event, y'all. We getting the bullet back in the building. Valentina Shevchenko, champ, 24-4, coming up against Mignon Fiore, 12-1. I don't know if I said that right at all. Check me on that, but who you got on this one, Moises?
Man, this is honestly damn.
Yeah, it's a hard
Man, I
one.
know Valentina Shevchenko got the experience, bro, and she's well rounded. Um, but dude, Manon Fiore is like on the tear too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm over here just like I don't even want to choose any of them, bro. I'd rather just do like over and unders on this one, bro. 'Cause, man, like it can go either way. Obviously, Manon Fiore is like, her last five are all decisions, which,
Right.
don't get me wrong. Like, we want to see obviously some finishes, but hey, she's still on the tear. But Shevchenko still hasn't fought since last year as well. Then she only fought once in last year, and then in 2023 she fought twice, but they were both with Grasso. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like, yeah, I feel like I'm gonna go with Fiore on this one, just because Shevchenko, you know what I mean? Like she's been in the game for a while now, and like how I said earlier, there's new bloods coming in, and these new women fighters want the belt. They want to get that. They want to be on top of the throne too. So I feel like Manning Poirier is gonna go after it, and she's already proved herself in the 5 round with against Blanchfield. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go with Poirier on this one, if I said that right.
Fioriata. Mano.
Fury.
Gloriata.
Orietta.
Gloriata. What you think,
So
Lee? Think
I think this
Shevchenko
is
get checked up here?
I think this is the same situation that Grasso's in, man. Ultimately, for like the past couple of years, the only thing Shevchenko has been focusing on is Alexa Grasso, sorry. Well, Fourier has been plotting. She looked fantastic against Blanchfield. I have her at a minus 150 at this fight. And can she make this fight to her style is the question, and her pace, and ultimately the arsenal of weapons that we've seen with Valentina, is that going to be enough to affect Marion? Again, though, we've seen as many title defenses as Valentina Shevchenko has had. That's basically like each fight is almost like a piece of the puzzle that you could add to a training camp, and that's what makes MMA such an interesting sport. Ultimately, is that you can only go so far as a champion, because after you have footage of several 7+ title defenses, ultimately you're going to people are going to find out where your habits are and where they lie, and eventually somebody will check your number. And I think that's probably what we're going to see Saturday night with Mano Ferrier.
I'm gonna agree. She's on a 12 fight win streak. Shevchenko, she's been training for the for it for Mignon or whatever fuck her name is. Jesus, Manon has been training for this fight 5 fights ago. You know what I mean? I know that people say they have fight for fight, but she's had her eye on Valentina Shevchenko, who really thought Shevchenko wouldn't be holding the belt when she got up there, and really thought Grasso with that loss to her. Oh man, it's so hard to bet against the bullet though, man.
yeah,
But I feel like Fiora is just a different breed, and Shevchenko's going to underestimate her, I believe. I'm going to go with her winning the belt also. Anybody else got anything on that?
love it.
Hell yeah. Before we get to this main event, I do want to make one more mention for y'all for TKO Roofing up in Cleveland, Ohio. Don't let your roof be the underdog. Get your roof fixed by the champ, Cody Wilson. And let's move on to your main event. UFC 315 this Saturday in Montreal, Canada. Bilal, the boring decision winner, Muhammad, 24-3 versus Jack Dale Killa Maddalena. What you got, Lee? Gosh, I hope Jack Dale Maddalena just leaps Bilal, but probably not going to happen.
Jack Della Maddalena went to a split decision with Kevin Holland. No, but that's my point. I think Bilal has this. He was preparing for Usman. JDM was preparing for Usman. Bilal has proved that he certainly surpassed Muhammad or Kamaru Usman. I think we see your run of the mill Bilal fight. I think we see what Bilal does best. There's 4 ways to win a fight: knockout, submission, DQ, or decision. And Bilal's done that route that he's used to 18 times. And I certainly think on Saturday night, it's going to be the 19th time that we see probably a 50-45 over JDM.
Yeah,
Yeah. As much as I like to see
yeah,
him just get sent with a
yeah,
head kick to
yeah.
Kudo,
My bad.
knocked out.
I had somebody knocking the door, but hey, I agree 100% on that with Lee what he just said, and I see more value in the over 4.5 rounds. That's at minus 150. So I could see that right there. I know for sure Jack Della Maddalena is going to get some punches in there and stuff, but I don't think it's going to put Bilal that much in trouble. And Bilal is going to get the dub on the decision. And yeah, I agree with that 50-45. So
Bilal Muhammad average fight time 14 minutes and 53 seconds.
Where's the other 7 go?
Oh my
The other
God.
7's Sean Brady.
How does he have a takedown? Oh, takedown successful. I wanted to see how many attempts he had. He's only successful on 2.2 takedowns in 15 minutes. God, Bilal Muhammad. All right, yeah, I feel like Bilal Muhammad's just going to be the typical bread cut, takedown, push him against the fence, get a takedown, be boring. But hopefully he goes for a finish, tries to make a statement for once. But you never see him trying to be the guy to jump the fence to go for a finish and brisket when he could just ride it out. You know, it's coming. You might as well go to sleep and try to wake up in the fifth round and watch the last 30 seconds. But all righty, Lee, you got some stuff on Winnable, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It is actually a massive weekend. There's PFL MENA, there's PFL Europe. There is a few other regional cards that we're going to be hitting up as well. Check our story all week. We're going to have our results up there from the weekend. We went 3-2 on our premium picks. We had Daniel Rodriguez as our largest pick. Well, the rest of everybody else was taking Smotherman Fight Time Network. We had D-Rod, and that cashed us 5 units. So lots more great stuff like that up on there. We'll be up in the story, up on all the pages all week long. Give us a check out there. We'll be with you from Thursday till Saturday.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. UFC 315 this Saturday. Don't miss it. See y'all next week. Fight Time Network.